This video is going to go over using the cosine rule to find an angle. Before we start that, I'm just going to do one more version of the sine or cosine game, just because again that is the hardest thing that you have to do in the exams, just working out which rule you need to use. So first one, if you have a quick look at this, again pause the video, have a think about which one you would need to use, whether it's a sine rule or cosine rule. Right, so on this one, x is opposite the 60, 9.5 is opposite an angle that we don't know. Do we know this one so that we can work it out? No, so therefore that doesn't have an opposite pair. This one is opposite this angle, but again, we don't know it, there's no way to work it out, so therefore that doesn't work for sine, so this is going to be cosine. So that you can even, when you do the sad face, look, that looks like a sideways C, doesn't it? So that might remind you then that it is cosine. The next one, so again, have a think about it, pause the video, and then play it again when you're ready. So this one, x is opposite the 6.7, so that's one matching pair. This one, opposite an angle we don't know, so that's not going to help us. There's no way to work that out because we don't know that one. And this one is opposite here, again, no way to work that out. So again, only one matching pair, so this is going to be cosine again. The next one, so again, have a think about it. So this one, 45 is opposite 10.5, so that's one matching pair. X is opposite the 85, so that one works, or maybe we shouldn't draw a smiley face because then that looks like a C as well, so we'll do a tick for that. So therefore that is sine rule. And last one of this exciting game is this one, so have to think about this one. So this one, 10.5 is opposite the 102, x is opposite the 4.2, that's got two pairs, so that would be sine rule. Right, so we're going to have a look at cosine rule for an angle in this video. I'm just going to quickly show you how you can work out the formula from this one here. So if you don't follow this, it doesn't really matter too much. The other option is that you can just memorise the angle formula for the exam, so you don't necessarily have to be able to follow this. But some people like to just learn this one and then learn how to rearrange it. So if we're trying to find the cosine rule for an angle, we know that this bit here is the angle. So we're basically trying to make that the subject, or at least near to be in the subject. So first of all is that it's negative. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 2bc cos A to both sides to make it positive. So this side would now become a squared plus 2bc cos A, and that's just going to equal now b squared plus c squared. So if I'm trying to get this bit here on its own, I'm now going to take away the a squared. So you get 2bc cos A equals b squared plus c squared minus the a squared. And the final step that we're going to do to get the new formula is, now this is all times together, so to get rid of this 2bc I'm going to now divide by 2bc, and that's going to give me cos A. So you're going to get cos A equals b squared plus c squared minus a squared over 2bc. So that is the formula that we are going to be using today. If you don't, like I say, if you don't necessarily follow the steps I've done there, don't worry too much. At the end of the day, in class we'll be going over little tricks to memorise these formulas, so don't worry too much about it at the moment. Just make a note of this formula and use this to help you answer these questions. So first thing is that if we're trying to find an angle this time, again you can see it's cos A, so we need to make sure that we label the angle that we're trying to find with the capital A, which means the one opposite here, that has to be little a. Now those are the only two that you need to make sure you get correct. The others, again, really doesn't matter whether you go for B or C, so let's go for this one is B, and that one is C. So then again, it's just a case of substituting now into this formula here. So it's going to be B squared, so 6.5 squared, plus C squared, which is going to be the 5.4 squared, minus A squared, which is the 4.9 squared, and then you divide that by 2bc, so that just means you do 2 times b times c. So it's going to be 2 times 6.5 times 5.4. So I am just going to work this out because, again, I just want to show you something similar to the sine rule. So if we start typing this in, so 6.5 squared plus 5.4 squared minus 4.9 squared over 2 times 6.5 times 5.4. Right, so when I do that, you can see my answer, look, is 0.6752136,752. So hopefully you've done enough of these kind of questions now where you think if you get an answer like that, that should remind you that you need to do something to your answer. And that's because, again, what you've worked out here is not A, it's cos A. So to get A and get rid of the cos bit, you're going to have to do this time, well, not sine to the minus 1, but cos to the minus 1, because it's cos A. So you just do cos to the minus 1 of your answer, so shift cos answer, and so then you get 47.53, which looks a much more sensible angle. So I'm just going to do one more, very similar really, but just it might just be worth just listening to the labelling of the sides part. So again, A needs to be the angle that you're trying to find, so this is going to be my capital A, which means the one opposite the 2 is my little a. B and C don't matter which one you want to do, so let's go for this one as B and this one as C, and now we just put it all into here. So B squared is 3.4 squared, C squared is 2.5 squared, minus A squared, which is 2 squared, divided by 2 times B times C, so 2 times 3.4 times 2.5. So I'm going to stick that all in on the calculator. So that gives me this answer here. So 0.8123529412, which is really small for an angle. What's the next step? Oh yeah, it's cos A, not A. So I need to do cos to the minus 1 of my answer. So shift cos answer. And so then it's going to be 35.67 degrees. So just make sure that your answer does always look like a sensible answer. If it's something really small like that, you're probably just missing the final step.